Have you ever been curious about how to create activations or installations like this design where it seems like the flowers are almost floating in air? Well, then this is the video for you. Today, I want to share with you how we created this really cool activation installation. And just for kind of a quick overview, an activation versus an installation is the idea that when we're creating an activation, we are really encouraging folks to interact with the floral piece. Hopefully they'll take pictures with it, they'll engage with it, and it'll be a really cool kind of conversation piece. Installations are also meant to be art and conversation pieces, but a little bit more stationary and maybe less actual interaction. So to get us started, you can see here I am using our handy dandy chicken wire. It's important to get a chicken wire that has pretty large openings, not too small, not too large, but I found that this chicken wire works best. It has about an inch opening in those holes. And pro tip here, you'll see I'm using gloves to actually crush or, move the chicken wire into the shape I want, because you see those pokey bits there, that can really scrape you up. I have learned from many installations that I did not use a gardening or, work type glove that can be very painful if you're not careful. So basically we're creating the shape that we want for the chicken wire. And this is actually an excerpt from one of our other videos that I'll also link to this video that is a quicker kind of overview, right, of how we use chicken wire, putting it on a frame, creating that base, obviously cutting it again with proper shears, putting it onto the base in the shape that we would want, which you saw me doing just there earlier, then zip tying each of those pieces together to add more security, and then being able to fill that. What I love about this type of sustainable design versus floral foam is that obviously it's more sustainable and it allows for a lighter weight of a floral design without the heaviness of like a water and foam. So here you can see I've started putting in our florals. There are some bits there I still have to fill in, but we're really trying to be as sustainable as possible with these videos that we share with y'all. And while I completely understand these are artificial florals, and so I know a lot of us are trying to also steer clear of that. My hope is to reuse a lot of these flowers. We also use dried flowers in the design. So next step is preparing the workspace. You see there I have some alcohol. We are cleaning off the areas that we will be assembling the activation on, and we are going to be using command type strips for this. And so there are some pretty strict guidelines you want to consider when you're putting those command strips up. Again, you want to use the rubbing alcohol, really clean off the space. And then actually there are stipulations for like waiting. I think it's an hour once you put those strips on to really let them hold. Because this is an outdoor activation, the other thing that we did was we ensured that we were using outdoor command type strips so they can withstand, in our case, the heat of late summer. They won't melt right off. They can withstand, hopefully, also the humidity, right? So these are things to think about, particularly if you're installing something outside. And it's important that you follow the rules to a T with those kind of things, because you want to make sure that those hooks can carry the weight that they are designed to carry. And you really can only ensure that if you have them weighted properly. So here you can see us starting to put the activation together. This was about an hour or so process. I had really tried to do my best to have the majority of the base created so that all we really had to do was put those strips up and then hang the pieces to it. Now that sounds easy enough, but the reality of this, and those of you who have done this before or are floral designers watching this video, you understand, right? It's easy to have a plan, and then the actual installation, that plan often takes some working through, right? And I want to just be really candid that I love these type of installations and activations, and I consider myself pretty creative with thinking about the mechanics. My husband is an engineer. I'm so grateful for that. So he often helps me think through these processes. And even with that background knowledge and interest and in focus and doing these types of floral designs, this actually was a challenge because we really wanted to use those black frames around the windows. We did not want to adhere the command strips to windows for obvious reasons, just with glass and also the recommendation of the command strip itself and how to make it work better to hold that weight. We also wanted to make sure this is on a very busy road. Again, it's going to be having a lot of heat outside. We understood that this was something that our clients wanted to have up for about a week. So it all had to be, sturdy and able to really withstand all of those things. So this is the final product. I think it turned out actually really beautifully. We made sure once we got everything up, we weighted that larger right portion with water weights. We kind of covered up that mechanics down there you can see, and then put the command strips at the top of the larger base and hooked the chicken wire into that just to keep it extra secure from falling over. And then the upper left piece is smaller, and we had 2 different command hooks. Even though it only weighed about 5 pounds, I just wanted to have 2 5-pound command hooks to make sure that it could really stay and be super secure. So I think it turned out beautifully. I'm thrilled with the result, but I wanted to share really all that goes into these type of designs with you. And I hope this is helpful and encourages you to be more on the path of sustainable, beautiful floral design that is creative and shares that creativity with your community. I look forward to any comments or thoughts or feedback in the comments of this video below. And to really drive home this transparency idea, I did want to show you guys, I took a video of the after about a week of the installation being up on a busy road and with 2 or 3 days of like 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I was actually impressed that the larger piece only moved slightly over to be kind of more in front of the door. Nobody took any pieces, no real pieces had major issues mechanically otherwise. But I did like actually how it ended up moving kind of organically. We made sure that the flowers weren't like inhibiting the door to be closed, which is a big thing. But anyway, thanks again for following along. We'll see you on the next video.